Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today we're going to be coaching a Lux and Katarina player who is a peak Diamond 1. We're going to be trying to help them get into Master this season through this coaching. I felt like this was honestly one of the most valuable coachings that I could have provided compared to a lot of my other coachings. I feel like there's a lot to learn here, a lot we talk about a lot of important things such as, like dragons and like why they're not always the best to go for. We give them a lot of good laning tips and some tips on side laning and stuff like this in the mid lane. So definitely if you're interested, stick around and watch the rest of this video. If you're interested in coaching yourself, it's just $15 for an hour of coaching. DM me on Discord or Twitter, link in the description to those, or just add my Discord, Talon1169. I'm a rank 5 sovereign autofill player, so obviously I kind of know a lot about a lot of roles, so I feel like I can provide you guys with some value there. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, yeah, so we're playing Lux. You said your peak was what, Diamond again, or what was it?
I think in season 9 I was Diamond 1.
Gotcha.
Currently I'm Diamond 2.
Okay.
I fell off into the in the weekend. Weekends are not for
Yeah,
playing.
sometimes weekends can be a little hard. So the first thing is, I like that you're wording like this, right? Like that's a good word to look for. The issue with doing it on Lux or on a lot of mages is you can get all in level 1 when you do that because your champion doesn't win the all in against Kai'Sa mid. Like Kai'Sa is going to have more overall damage because you're an ability based champion. She auto attacks, so she has the consistent damage. And so walking up for this word, you know what I'm talking about, like the word you walked up for there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
that one is going to be pretty risky. And so when you're going to want to do that, you're going to want to play for level 2 here, and then you're going to have prio on level 1 because your wave clear is pretty good and you can poke her out. And then you're going to go for that ward after first level, or you're just going to go ward like where my cursor currently is. Do you see where my cursor is? Like that bush right there?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's just the first thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I've died many times doing that, but I still do it because I'd like to see where the jungler is.
Yeah, which again, we can still do that just on level 2, and then we'll usually be fine doing it in that way, and that's going to work as well.
Yeah.
And then the second thing here, you didn't auto initially on the wave, and so again, level 2 is a very important thing, and if you didn't know, you get level 2 after killing the first 4 minions. Sometimes the first 3, depending on if it took a while to kill them, but typically it's going to be the first 4. So once you kill the 4th minion of the first wave, you'll get level 2. And so that means that you want to be hitting the wave a little bit more than him so that their wave is lower so that you get level 2 first. So you didn't auto attack this wave before using your third ability on him. You just went straight to the third ability. And the problem with that is you're just wasting some autos that you could have had to then get level 2 quicker. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. I know that for the minions from the league.
Do you play regular league sometimes? Or?
I've used to play, but the games are too long there.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, now we see here, yeah, she kind of gets the level 2 advantage on us, and so we get pushed back a little bit, and that's not obviously quite optimal, so.
I miss creeps a lot.
Yeah.
It's too hard to hit him with the mobile controls.
Gotcha. Okay, so the first thing here is, well, to make your skills easier to hit as Lux. You threw the skill at her without waiting for anything to come out. So there's a way to make it really easy to hit skills in lane. And that is when the minions get to 1 hit, right, where he's going to want to go last hit, you wait for him to go and auto attack the minion, and he stands still when he auto attacks. And so when he's standing still, you can hit him for free. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to see here, basically, you do it right now, but your minion is not super low. Say that we waited for when he's going to clearly walk up for this minion here to go kill it. This would be the time to use our first. You even still have your first ability up. You could have used it there, for example. And also, I do want to just quickly acknowledge as well, everything I say is never to it's purely for the goal of improvement. So I'm going to point out a lot of small nitpicky things here because I'm going to upload this video in the future, and then you can look back on it and find all these small details. And then we're going to go over more of the bigger overarching details that we need to improve on. And then I'm going to write those down for you and send them to you, and then you're gonna those will be the things that you'll initially work on. But everything I point out is never flame. It's never anything apart from just trying to get better.
I know.
I just want to make sure. I've had problems with that in the past where people get a little annoyed, so that's just why I'm just acknowledging that. But
yeah, I understand what you.
Yeah. And then okay, another problem here. So are you aware of how Kai'Sa passive works?
Yeah, I kinda.
Okay, I can explain it if you want.
If she hits me 4 times, she do magic damage, I think, equal to missing health.
Yeah, I think it's the 5th auto attack. So 4 auto attacks has it fully stacked, and when she hits the 5th auto is when it gets procced. And so here, this is an indicator, by the way. You see this like big thing lighting up underneath your champion?
Yeah.
That's the indicator that now it's one hit away. So you're going to see, now that it's one hit away, you're walking up with it, and you should have waited for it to wear off. But when you walk up with it, look how much damage this single auto attack does, because it's going to proc it. You see, like, that's like way too much damage, right? So we're going to want to wait for that to wear off and then go up instead. So
Yeah. Now you see the first indication that he scripts.
that, I don't know. I don't like, okay, I always try to lean on the side of not accusing people of this stuff. Like, I get it was a little bit, like, that was pretty crazy. And if it happens once or twice,
No,
right?
listen,
Yeah.
I also do it, but
If it continues to
reviewing this
happen, weird
video,
stuff like that, sure. But even with how he
Yeah.
played, and if he was scripting, he was scripting. But even with this, we could have 100% outplayed him if we did some of those things earlier in lane, getting the level 2 first by hitting more
of course.
and waiting for him
Sure.
to go for autos on minions and then using spells that way. But yeah, this was either a crazy play by him or maybe he was scripting. I don't know. But that was a nuts flash. That was impressive. And I like that you went for the aggressive play because you knew you could kill him there. So I don't have an issue with the death here. The issue was some of those earlier things that led to us being lower, which meant that we could die, right? But the aggressive play there is totally, that's a good like attempt to try to kill him there. So.
Yeah, he has like 20 games on Kai'Sa for all the time he plays it.
Yeah,
and he has like 47% win rate in total this season.
He's not that high of a win rate then. So.
Yeah,
gotcha.
He's bad, but he has crazy scores always with guys.
It's the blue one, by the way, for the vision. Just so you know. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, you're obviously it's a replay, so it's not current, but. Okay, so a thing here as well. We're currently sitting on 1,400 gold, and so we want to push this wave really quickly and recall for mana boots. So our goal should just be use our minions, or our abilities on the minions, and get out as fast as possible, because then we can recall on level 5 and have our mana boots, which is a very strong power spike, and level 5, so then we can start looking for roams or one-shotting people, stuff like that, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the other coaching videos, so I know that.
Yeah, that's definitely like a big thing with a lot of mid laners. Is so I'm glad that you're aware of that. Also, I am, by the way, just tomorrow I'm uploading a mid lane guide, so that's also something maybe to check out, just if you're looking for some more like, information and stuff. But okay, yeah. So recalling here, for example, we can just recall. If you want, you can ult this wave and then recall. Like if you use all your you go for an ult on them. I don't think they're that low there, right? So I don't actually know if I really like the ultimate that you did here. I would have kind of preferred you to maybe just look for either your jungler is coming, so you could wait for your jungler to come and then look for a kill, or you could just ult the wave, just get recalled quicker because Lux has a really low ult cooldown, and using it to just ult the wave and have time to roam is okay. You can do that in some scenarios, and it's fine.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. The ult here was to proc the mastery first strike, and also probably to prevent my teammates from dying.
Yeah, I get that, and I don't necessarily mind it. Ulting just for first strike, not really, in my opinion, the most valuable. But if you are using it to try to save your teammates, you think it's going to save them, I understand. But we do have this problem where now we've been stuck in lane for a very long time, right? And even using your spell on her, I don't like. We're super low mana, and so we need this mana to clear the wave because we're not useful until we get recalled. So it's really important. Again, this is going to be like the first major overarching point that we need to focus on is the recall timers. Yo, that was crazy, by the way, that first ability hitting her. But the recall timers is going to be the first thing we're really going to need to focus on, because if you were in this fight where you were, having mana boots, having full mana and everything, you'd actually be able to probably win this fight and help your teammate, right? But because we took a long time to back, we end up being in a really bad scenario here where then we get pretty far behind.
Yeah, and if I had to do it.
Yes, exactly. And you get the ult off there. I don't mind that. That's clearing a few minions and getting her low. And so now we're going to have this time where we're going to be able to roam, because she's going to recall after she clears this wave. You're going to be able to push this wave, and there's not a wave coming for a little bit. So I would probably look for a bottom lane roam right now, because our jungler is bot side, and then our team is also fighting on the bot side. But I would push this mid wave first, because this mid wave is coming up, right? And so you could go up really quickly on it, clear it as fast as possible, and then look for a bot roam, because your jungler has 2 camps left, right? He has that camp that he's on right now, and then his Krugs. And so after he clears those 2 camps, he'll likely look for a bot or a mid gank, and that's going to be a great timing for us to roam. And that's exactly what you do, or at least with the pushing the wave. We'll see if you end up actually going for a spot.
You have high expectations for my jungler.
For your jungler? Right, so
yeah,
it's not about necessarily that it's actually going to work out every single time or that your jungler is going to make the correct play. It's about increasing the likelihood of roams working out. And so oftentimes you're going to do this and then your jungler is not going to do anything and you're just going to go back to mid, but you're not going to lose anything because you see how the wave is coming, right? As long as you walk back in about 5 seconds when the mid wave is coming, you're going to be fine and you're not going to lose anything. But you are going to have those scenarios where every once in a while your jungler does look for the gank right away, and then you're actually able to go with him and it's going to work out. And so it's, again, it's not about every single time it working out. It's just about increasing the likelihood of any gank working out. Because if you just roamed by yourself randomly here, for example, it wouldn't be great. But since your jungler's here, it gives you that cushion of, say, someone's maybe camping this bush randomly, or someone shows up out of nowhere. There's just more safety, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, here we're kind of now waiting too long. Like, you should have gone back to mid here once you realize your jungler is not really doing much and there's not much kill pressure, and the wave is coming back to mid. So I like how you come here like you did, but we should start walking back a little sooner.
I main jungler usually.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
But I stopped because it's boring. Like, it's very repetitive.
Yeah, I feel you.
Binary.
It is very binary for sure. Yeah, like that's a great descriptor of it. And again, like, even though you get the kill here, I want to point out that you actually lose on this roam. And the reason you lose on this roam is because you lost that entire wave, right? Because that entire mid wave is dying under your tower right now. So that's already about 200 gold. And so out of this play, we get 300 gold, right, from the kill. We lose 200 gold from this wave. We lose at least 1 plate, which is already going to be 350 gold, right? So that's already negative. And then additionally, getting kills is worse than getting minions in terms of if they're equal gold, because when you get a kill, or your teammates get a kill, or anyone gets a kill, they are now worth more gold, because it's like how shutdowns work, right? But getting minions does not make you worth more gold. So if you have the option between 200 free gold or 300 potential gold on a fight, usually taking that 200 free gold is going to be better. And also, if you went on that mid wave first, you could have still came here, or at least had your ult to help, or like other things, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And so yeah, I think like the main like overarching point that we're gonna have focused on and like kind of written down here initially is just gonna be, as I do with a lot of the people that I coach, is gonna be having better wave management and like focusing on getting the prio first and then roaming, instead of kind of, again, you're kind of skipping a step in that sense a lot of the times. I think the ultimate usage could be a bit better sometimes. Like in that lane, again, it wasn't an awful ult or anything, but it could have been a bit better. And then making sure that we wait for people to stand still before hitting the or using our spells. And even here again, it's the same mistake kind of. You're not paying attention to the mid wave, and so you back off of this mid wave and let him get the first turret, right? And what we should do here is stay in mid and kind of just protect that turret for as long as possible, because a champion like Lux has such good wave clear that you almost never want to be losing your mid turret early in the game. But you look again for the roam here, well, she's able to get the free gold there, and that makes her very fed, you know, and so that's a big problem for sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you pause for a bit?
Yes.
Usually I was looking for a dragon. I know that people say that dragons are worthless, but I think if you get 3 dragons, it's good.
Yes. So can I
And
explain?
also
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and also the stats alone from dragons are good enough to be, even if it's 1 dragon.
Okay.
And you'll be taking help.
So let me explain kind of the objective value of dragons. So it's about a 3% buff. Say for Infernal. Infernal is one of the better dragons, right? And for this, it's a 3% damage buff. So say you have, I don't know, like 100 AD. You're getting 3 AD, right? That's, 103, right? So in a situation like that, how much is like a longsword? It gives you 15 AD, 12 AD? I think 12, right? And a longsword is 500 gold. It gives you 12 AD. So we're getting a fourth of a longsword with the 3 AD, meaning that's going to be 125 gold worth of value. Now we're getting it on everyone. And obviously it's not quite this simple, because it's not just the AD, it's like damage overall, right? But the damage is mitigated by armor that enemy team has. So I'm just using this as a rough explanation gold-wise. It's not actually necessarily an entirely accurate, exact measurement, but it is a way to get a rough idea of the actual gold value. And so on any individual champion, we're maybe getting 100 to 200 gold value per champion on this dragon, right? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and that's on the good dragon, like Infernal is one of the ones we like. Additionally, if you're giving up a first turret is already, I don't know the numbers, but definitely over 500 gold because it applies global gold to their entire team as well as individual gold. Actually, we can just look at this. We can go back in the game and look at what their gold went up as soon as they get first turret. Let's see, we're at 20.1. She's about to kill the first turret. 800 gold, right? 800 gold there.
Yeah.
And we're saying it's 1 to 200 gold per teammate, so that dragon is already only equally worth as much gold as that first turret we gave up. You agree?
Yeah.
And then additionally, the Kaisa is still able to come after getting the first turret, and she's able to help with this dragon. So even though our goal was to get that, right, that gold, we're still not even guaranteeing that we get this, because now the Kaisa comes here, she's strong, she has the mid lane priority, meaning that you have to walk into her because she has control over the wave, allowing her to have control of this bush, which then makes it easier for her to fight. Additionally, the Herald side also gives similar stats. It will give you, if you pretty much can get a first turret off of that, which again we said is going to be 1,000 plus gold a lot of times if you're also getting plates off of it, because that was her only breaking the first turret, not even counting the plates. So it's going to be at least like 800 gold, oftentimes 1.5k plus gold from this Herald anyway, which is again more valued than this early dragon. So now your last argument would be the 3 dragons, right? The soul. That's really valuable. And I agree with you. Soul is extremely valuable and allows us to win games really easily. But think about it this way. To get soul, what do you need to do? You need to win 3 fights over a dragon, right? Correct? Or at least you need to steal them. But usually it's because you won the fight that you get the dragon. And if you won a dragon fight at 5 minutes, a dragon fight at 9 or 10 minutes, and a dragon fight at 14, 15 minutes, when the dragons spawn, I don't know the exact times, but roughly here. If you won all these fights, you already won the game, right? Like you won at 3 separate points in the game, fights, which allows you to get extra gold, get everything, right? So if we already won 3 fights, it doesn't even matter the fact that we have this dragon, because we're going to win anyway because we're winning so many fights, we're already so far ahead. Does that logic all make sense, or do you have any questions or rebuttals about all that?
Yeah, it makes sense. My logical counter to that would be that we are already behind, and if they get 3 dragons, we cannot contest dragons later.
Yeah, got you.
Because,
And so I
Shane
have, yeah, go ahead.
Shane is dog, basically. I'm also a dog later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's better to at least get the first or the second or one, and then
Yes.
probably stop contesting it.
Yeah, and you're correct. It's important to deny 1. And so when you're behind in the early game, the optimal one to deny is the second or third one. And the reason for it being optimal to deny the second or third one is if they go for the dragon here, you can trade the Herald, right? And obviously this is assuming your jungler does the correct thing. It doesn't always work out. However, we're talking about as in, you know, if our teammates or we are able to make plays that work, right? So we have something we can trade. So when they go dragon, we go Herald, we get, like we said, about 1,500 plus often gold value from this, and they get that maybe 800 to 1,000 gold from the dragon, correct?
Yeah.
And so when the second or third dragon comes up, there's nothing to trade for. Second dragon especially, there's not even Baron spawned yet, and there's no Herald. So the reason that second dragon is going to be better to trade or to try to now contest when you are behind is because there's nothing you can trade for. So you can get stronger by trading on the first dragon, right? And then you can make that gold lead less. Right now they have a 3,000 gold lead. If they went and got this dragon and you got this Herald, I know it's not actually Herald, it's like a turret thing. But if you got that, then you make this gold lead less, which then means that you can continue to lessen that gold lead that they have while you get to the second dragon, which then allows you to be more powerful for that second dragon. So it's going to be easier to fight that second or third dragon than the first dragon. We're here because we're down 3k so early on, it's so likely that we're already going to lose this fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
So essentially when we're behind, we want to trade opposite sides of the map, whether that's turrets, whether that's heralds, other things like that. And then we want to scale up, you know, get to our stronger points. Because again, Lux is a champion who's really good on 2, 3, 4 items when she has her burst damage. In the early game, she's fine, but she's not going to be able to hard carry these fights, which is another reason that you want to get to the later points in the game. So do you have any other further things you want to talk about in regards to that?
No, the new hero is that. In general, the rework was better. Yeah.
You think the old herald was better?
Yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
Yeah, I agree. But I still think these are pretty good. Like, I still think these are better than dragons, in my opinion. But I do think the old herald was better. Yeah. All right, you cool with going through the next part now?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Dude, I spoke so much. I need to drink water. Holy crap.
Yeah. I'll drink too.
Okay, yeah, and then here we do see in the scenario we end up kind of not getting much value out of that. I don't necessarily like using our ultimate here either, just because we had no real kill potential on them and we were kind of already giving it up. I would have maybe preferred to earlier recall and then look for top side. We could maybe get vision and try to steal this, right? Or camp them in the bush here, because we know they're going to look for this after they get the dragon. And so if we gave up on the dragon a little earlier, once we realized it's unwinnable, that fight, then we could set up a little bit around the herald and maybe look for a possible pick there instead. So.
I think at this point I already gave up on contesting.
Yeah, contesting isn't really that possible at this point for the most part. It'd be a bit better to just go for waves now in side lane. But we do see like our team is ending up looking for something, right? And if say the Malphite ulted someone, you might be able to get a pick had we had our ultimate up.
No,
Like
pause,
even here,
pause,
for
pause.
example. Yeah, pause.
Yeah, pause, pause.
Yeah.
That Malphite is complete dog.
Yeah. And I mean, they're all gonna be dog. Like we kind of
Yeah,
have to make
yeah,
this assumption,
no,
right?
I know, but this is like the peak of solo kill. Look at him. He has ultimate.
Yeah.
I'm ulting the Aatrox, and he's focusing me, and he hits the camp.
Yeah. No, that
Look
is. What is this he about to do that? Oh, he's just hitting the.
Yeah,
no,
look, and he
he's
has
trolling you.
ultimate.
Yeah, that's awful. That's very bad by your teammate. I do want to point out, and the only reason I'm pointing this out is because we're always looking at getting better, right? And not like your teammate. He's awful.
Yeah.
That's on him, right? But had we not wasted our ult at the dragon, this guy is low enough where you would have been able to ult him when you rooted him because your ult didn't come off cooldown until like the very end.
Yeah, okay.
And so you could have killed him.
No.
Yeah.
This game, the Shen only ulted once.
Yeah.
It wasn't unwinnable from the pick, I think.
You know, it looks pretty unwinnable. It looks like your team was very bad, right? And I want to acknowledge kind of the mindset thing that we have to go into to climb out of, especially like as a person, I did my 5-roll challenger thing. I played from either iron or plat to challenger on every roll when challenger was the highest, which means I have went through emerald diamond gameplay 5 times and more than 5 times because I've done it the other times I'm climbing as well. So like I understand, right, the feeling that you have. You might not think I do, but trust me, I have felt this. These awful teammates, it feels like you can do anything. Even as a challenger player, I was stuck in plat for quite a while playing jungle at a point, and playing other roles. I've been stuck in different elos, whether it's diamond, grandmaster, I've been stuck in like every elo for a significant hundreds of games at times. And I understand dealing with these teammates. It sucks. They're trolling you. They're playing really bad. I'm looking at this current game, and it looks like it was probably nearly unwinnable. I think you could have potentially influenced based on some of the earlier mid plays to make this game winnable. I do think it's possible. However, it's a very difficult game. And when this happens, we need to acknowledge, we need to say to ourselves, that game was unwinnable. My teammates sucked. But I could have done this and this and this, right? And then it's not about winning the game. It's not about doing that to win the game. It's about doing that so then when you get in a scenario again where you're in a game where it's a little bit more winnable, your teammates are still maybe not great, but a little bit better than this to the point where it's winnable. And then in those games where our team is only slightly worse than the enemy, we're impacting it by making these small adjustments that are going to win us the game. And every small adjustment you make that wins you an individual game is 2 marks because it's, you know, you're gaining the mark that you would have lost. So instead of going -1, you're going +1, which is essentially a net 2 gain. So it doesn't have to be that many things to get you from, say, diamond 2 to master, right?
Yeah. One thing I'm going to say is that even in the upper ranks, it's still the same. I mean, you will get dogs. You will be the dog sometime.
Yeah.
My problem is that not my teammates are bad.
Yeah.
But that the Riot nerfed the solo carry potential of the game.
Yeah, like, it is definitely. I mean, it's a 5v5 game. It's always going to be somewhat hard to solo carry. And again, it's always about the mindset of we're going to win the 60% of games that are winnable, right? Or the 70% of games. We're going to have 30% of our games that are unwinnable, and we're going to focus on controlling the ones that we can. And I'm saying this to you from a state of like, I'm someone who I get mad and I blame team more than I should. I'm not like, you know, I've hit high elo and I've also gotten mad at my team a lot, blame them even when sometimes it was my fault. And I, you know, get angry and tilted and blame people. So like, I'm not immune to this. I'm not trying to act like I'm, you know, better than that. I'm just saying, as someone who's obviously here to coach you and help you get better, if we can at least have a little bit more awareness of that, it's going to allow us to climb better, you know? So.
No, I have the awareness because I play League from
That's
when
true.
it comes out. So I've been in bronze for like 5 years back in the
Yeah.
days.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think we've gone a lot over like the mindset portion of things, right? And talking about how your teammates are very bad. And so I think to get
Yeah.
through this, within like the allotted, like say an hour, hour and a half, I'm fine with going a little overtime. We should start focusing again more on the details of your play and focusing on
Yeah.
that now that we spoke about the mindset thing. And then I think like if we speak about a lot of these specific details, we can get you from say Diamond 2 to Master, maybe Grandmaster level if these things are worked on and improved. So
Mhm. No, the thing to me that was funny what he was doing. It's not like
yeah, no, it is
I
funny.
blame.
It is funny. I agree.
And the Shen like had only single ult for the whole game.
Yeah. It's rough for sure. Also, dude, your team has so many shields. Like, anti-shield would be so insane. Like, I feel like Aatrox should build Serpent's Fang here. You
Yeah,
have
I
Karma,
genuinely
Lux,
think
like, Shen.
that Diamond Yellow reminds me of Gold in League.
Yeah. League definitely, like, the ranks are different in terms of skill of players for sure. Okay, so looking at this, our Malphite's coming here. We probably just go to mid if we kill this. Again, you're looking for an ult on someone who's full health. I'm, again, not the biggest fan of a lot of the ult usage here. I would say using it for wave clear or using it once we root someone. Or in a
Yeah,
scenario
that's
where
what I
someone's a lot
did.
lower. Yeah.
I cleared the wave in the bot lane.
Oh, gotcha.
So I have time
Yeah,
to
I don't
reach
know,
there.
like even here, say you hit this root, right, and then you could ult him, like for example. I just feel like having the ult in these
Yeah.
scenarios is probably better than kind of ulting these bot waves a lot of the time, especially when you're not in an angle. Like the angle you ulted it at only allows you to hit a couple minions, right? Say you ulted it from base, then like you can hit all, right? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I'm still the biggest fan of that overall, but I do get it. Like you're looking for the wave, it makes sense. And even here again, I don't necessarily love that we came to bot because we should probably focus on the mid wave first because our team has the bot wave. And a lot of times catching up in games where we're behind is about catching waves efficiently and then rotating after we push the waves. Because if you're always giving up this gold, then the one time that you do end up getting a pick or a kill, you're still not gaining a lot because if they go mid or they push somewhere, then we're still not really gaining on the map overall. And again, the ultimate usage here, not because like, okay, so this is again, it's going to be one of the bigger things. So the ult here that you used, you just wanted to stop his recall? You just wanted to stop his recall or what?
No, I tried to kill him.
Oh, you thought you could kill. Okay. So then it's just a
I don't
misunderstanding of
know my
damage.
damage.
Gotcha. And so that's if you thought you can kill him, try it and then see it and it doesn't work out. I get it. Like that's understandable. So and obviously in hindsight, an Aatrox at half health is not going to die to an ult, and now we know that, and it's cool. But yeah, say we did have the ult, she dies here, right? So like that would be a great scenario where then we kill her. It is what it is though. Happens.
I'm not sure we would kill her. She's level above and we don't have enough damage.
It's but again, it's gonna be more likely that we kill, right? Having that
Yeah.
ultimate. And again, it's more about
Yeah.
not the specific scenario, but more the overall, like
In
the long run. Yeah. She does end up getting shut down, which is great. So it goes to the Shen, who's probably not the ideal person to get the shutdown onto. And again, also, we're pretty low mana, so we're definitely going to want to take it back out. Bro, your ult cooldown is so low, though. It's insane. Like, I do like that you use your ult a lot. It's definitely better than not using it, and being too scared with it. So at least you are using it a lot, because Lux ult cooldown is crazy low. So I am happy about the way you think about using your ult. But we have these few scenarios that we could work on, and I think it's going to be better overall.
Yeah. I tend to use it as fast as it's off cooldown.
Yeah, which may be slightly too much, right? I think we could be a little, like we said, a little bit more, I don't know, conservative with it, but yeah, also it's still better than a lot of people for sure in that regard. Here, I think we can go up for the second wave here. The reason I don't necessarily love going mid here, a lot of your team's already here. You're already behind a lot, again, like we said, so taking a lot of fights.
And we're going to lose.
Yes. And your team is going to lose regardless. And so this is another thing for mid lane, especially that a lot of people, they ask me. 1 second. So a lot of times they ask me, my team is going to take a dumb fight. Should I fight it? Is this something that you feel like you have an issue with a lot? Like you don't know whether or not you should go help them or you should keep farming?
No, I know, but
Okay.
in general, it's if I have the kill potential, I'll go.
Yeah.
But in this specific game, I'm not sure. We don't have enough damage in the first place.
Yeah.
We have Karma, Shen, and Malphite who is on AP and can't ult.
Yes, yes. And so the best time that I think you're going to be able to actually carry this game and one-shot people is getting to third item death cap, right? Because I'm assuming our build is probably Ludens, Infinity Orb, death cap. Is it different than that? Is that what we're building?
No, it's something like that.
Yeah. So okay. So on the go ahead. Sorry.
Problem is, I try that. I will go to farm the wave, and I'm always collapsed by the enemy
Yes.
because
So
my
the reason,
team is doing nothing in the meantime, so they don't have what to do. And they see me isolated on map, and they will come to me.
And so let me point out to you a couple of reasons why it's okay to die in this scenario, and also why you likely won't die in this scenario. The first reason you won't likely die in this scenario is because so many people are mid and they're fighting with your teammate right now. Your karma is somewhat low. They're probably going to be greedy for a little bit. Your wave clear is really quick. You can get to this wave in a second. You know, it'll only take you 5-10 seconds and you're already out, right? So it's a limited amount of time on the map and they're currently distracted. We see a lot mid lane. Additionally, it's okay for your team to die if they do die because there's no objective up. So you're going to lose some gold and you're not going to be happy about it, but we're not going to lose anything super severe. Additionally, side laning as a mid laner, where again, our power spike is death cap. That's what we're really looking to maybe carry this game on. Maybe death cap gives us a miracle. And so the miracle of death cap we're looking for, you can only acquire by getting yourself gold. That means that you might have to give up some gold to the enemy in order to do that. Why are we okay with dying here? We're okay with dying here, one, because we already assessed that we have a low chance of dying. But if we were to die, there's no dragon spawning soon. There's no Baron up. There's nothing to lose. So a time to side lane as a mage looking for gold that's very good is like, it's okay to die on side lane because you're going to draw people here. You're going to take ults. You're going to maybe take a flash. You know, you're maybe going to get a pick yourself because Lux burst damage is very strong still, right? And so for all of these reasons, we're actually okay with potentially dying on this side lane and there's no real issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Also, ulting before Q, I don't love the like little mechanical thing there. I would prefer if we use our first ability first and then, but it is what it is. And you do play this fight pretty well overall, though. Like, it actually looks like it turns out all right. And again, I'm more concerned with the long run, right, implications of like going for this play consistently. I don't actually think, you know, it worked out in this scenario pretty well. I still don't think that it's going to be the correct thing in the long run, right, for most of the time. Does that make sense as to why?
Yeah.
And also, we do overstay a bit. We should be looking for a recall a bit quicker here because the objective is spawning soon. And so if we're able to get a recall a lot quicker here, instead of playing for this fight, right? Because now we're definitely going to lose that dragon. And you spoke earlier about how it's important to deny a dragon, and I agree with you. It's important to deny one. But now you're not going to be able to deny one because you're going to have to recall on low health. Well, they're going to get control over the dragon. Had you recalled 20 seconds ago, you would then have control over this bush. You can even maybe grab a sweeper if you feel like it, but you don't have to. You can utilize a bush to possibly pick someone as they walk into this, and that's going to be your best time to get the second dragon, right?
Yeah. However, we will still get a second dragon.
Oh, you do? Well, that's good. Yeah. And again, it's all about how it's going to work in the long run. So doing this consistently, a lot of times you're going to end up losing this dragon. And even if you get in this individual scenario, you would be a lot more likely to get it had you, nice steal, but you would be a lot more likely to get it had you, again, recalled earlier and stuff like that. And I don't love the flash because we don't have our ult up, so it's pretty hard to get a kill when they're full HP. And additionally, I think you should try using your first ability before flashing so that it's a bit quicker, right? Like first ability, then flash right after.
Look, the guys are here.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's scripting. Based on how the Crisis played so far, she hasn't played very good, and she had a couple plays on you that ended up working out. To me, that's just like one lucky second ability. I've done that before on Kaisa.
No. She will do it. Yeah. 2 or 3 times consistently without vision.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, that's like, okay, so in this scenario here, and I'm not going to spend too much time arguing about it because it doesn't really matter, but in this scenario here, she hits you once, or she hits you here, right? And she knows that you're near the dragon, so she just kind of throws one. And then she just, like, she only throws one. Maybe she threw one earlier, but, like, if she throws one, she knows you're probably going to walk a certain way. She's going to throw a second one, then she's going to go on you. Like, to me, that's not that crazy.
No. Yeah, but that's the second that's hitting me in a row.
Yeah, again, once he hits the first one, he has vision of you for a second to know where you might be walking, and then he guesses. And,
really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so to me, that's why I would say that it's not too likely a script, but you never really know. And like we said,
Yeah.
his win rate's kind of low, so if his win rate's higher, then it'd be more sus. But his win rate being low in Diamond, I'm gonna think most likely it's not.
Yeah, and the problem for me is that he has like 20 games total in for guys,
Gotcha, gotcha.
and he hits those consistent.
Yeah,
Like he knows the speed of the projectile very well.
yeah. I mean, maybe he's just a quick learner. I think 20 games is a decent amount of time to learn a champion. To be honest, like that's not that shocking to me. Again, a little weird, not that shocking. Maybe just he had a good game. To me, that's what it seems like. But back onto your gameplay, kind of focusing on that again.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
just
let's go.
yeah. So again, mid wave here is going to be kind of the priority here. Obviously, we can't necessarily go on it first since we don't have a tower, we don't have our team up, so I don't mind you sitting here like that. I don't really like the ult here, and the reason I don't like it is you're going to be able to clear the wave really quickly in a second anyway with your third ability and your just autos. So like to me,
Yeah,
I don't mind ulting the wave when it's going to get us value. But in this scenario, you're not going to get much value because you're not recalling for anything specific because there's no dragon or nothing you want to fight over or no roam you can do. You're kind of just sitting here, again, waiting for the game to progress because we are behind and we kind of just have to hope that they throw into us at this point, right? So,
yeah.
and like we also saw that Varus right now is really low. Like we saw him on the map like a second ago. And say we had our ultimate, we might be able to snipe him and kill him, which is another reason just like
Yeah.
having this ult could be nice. So. Another time, I'm not being like I'm not trying to be a dick, but like again, we have our ult here, might be a little bit better. We're not gonna kill here; they're all full health. But like just these scenarios where we're like, and it all comes back up, so that's another thing. Like that was great; it came up, works out. So, but yeah,
Yeah, it's very short. I play with Transcendence.
yeah. No, the cooldown is super short. So again, that's why I did also mention like I'm okay with you doing it a lot, just a bit less. At this point, again, a recall would be nice after we clear this wave immediately because we're low mana and we have some gold. And so I don't like that, like, you're up here a bit too long. I would have just focused on the mid wave a little quicker, but it's not too bad. I just don't like walking up here. Just want to take the recall at this point instead of going for the tower. So.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, thinking more generally about what
Look,
yeah, go ahead.
the previous guy's a second ability.
Yeah.
Like a second. It
Well,
was straight into me if she had no vision there.
where was it? Here?
A bit more behind. More.
Uh,
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
she has
Right
vision
here.
of
So
you. She has vision of you.
here.
Yeah. This one, she has
No,
vision. Senna
yeah,
should.
the next one.
Yeah, okay, so okay,
After
we'll go through. But yeah, Senna, like they see you through Senna and whatever. Use a second ability on
Yeah.
you. She knows that you guys are still up here. Their teammates know that you're
Yeah.
close. She knows you're backing off, and then she throws one. And it missed you too. It was close, but it didn't hit you. I don't think this is scripting. I just think that she's just guessing based on where you're backing off to after she has vision of you because she knows you can only go so far. That's my opinion. But
Yeah.
and then
I don't
again,
think
I do
that
want to speak again
he has
about the
that.
backing. I think we should have recalled a
Yeah.
lot earlier for mana again.
Yeah. So baking and
Yeah, that's one of the
being
most
more
important general things. I think a little bit less ultimate spamming. Still use it a lot, but a little bit less. The recalling more often, understanding important item spikes, playing more around our item spikes such as death cap in a game where we're losing a bit, and then having better setups for objectives by recalling and getting mid prio earlier for them, and then using certain things to make our spells easier to hit, such as the enemy standing still for last hits. These are going to be like the 5 to 6 main points at the moment from this game that I'm going to write down and have you work on. So
And if I had mana here, I could
yes,
clean
exactly.
up.
And then here, important thing to mention, each dragon is 1-1. We're losing the game. Don't fight it. Unless your team goes, you're going to have to, but like try to ping your team off and get off it because there's no soul. One individual dragon is not very good stats and you're already losing. So there's no real reason to fight over it if we don't have to. We could even try to sneak a Baron in some situations, not really this one, but like some scenarios we can look for that. And then we ping our team off. Again, you're not pinging. I would like to just ping retreat, retreat, retreat. And if our team goes anyway, that's, that sucks. But since you see your team going, I don't mind you coming and trying to help. But I do also not want to like over aggressively look for it. And like, this is fine. I don't mind you trying to ult to steal it. That's cool. It's whatever.
Yeah, my ult was like on delay.
Yeah. But again, a lot of the fights that you play for the most part are pretty good. Like your mechanics on this champ are pretty strong. It's really like the only thing is sometimes you used your ult before your first ability, so that it makes it harder to land. And you could use your you could use Q flash instead of flashing and then queuing. But overall, the mechanics of the champ you're pretty good with. So I think like that's not really a big issue.
Yeah, generally I can play all the champs.
Yeah.
Problem with them is that they don't do enough damage since the rework of the void stuff.
Yeah. No, I see. I think it's not necessarily the champions not dealing enough damage. In my opinion, it's a lot of this farming, where even like, for example, we can be bot lane here when our team is already hovering mid, and like again that earlier play we said where we wanted to go farm bot wave instead of go mid, and things like this are leading you to have less gold than you could, as well as your laning phase again should be improved a lot based on some of the things we spoke about, and these things are going to allow you to have more gold, which then makes your champion feel stronger because you have more damage. And so to me, it's not necessarily the champions or the void staff, it's the fact that we don't have the best like macro in a lot of ways to get us to gold, because you can see here we're at 10.8k. Two of our teammates are ahead of us, the enemy are very far ahead of us, and this is really why our champion is going to feel weaker at this point.
Yeah, that's my problem. Why do I fall behind? I try to farm. I try to not pick stupid fights, and I'm still behind.
Yeah. And your gold is not necessarily awful right now. Like hitting death cap at 16 minutes is a little low, but it's not bad. And you're still going to have good burst damage at this point, like into this enemy team comp. And so again, the first reason you're falling behind is your early lane phase is not super good because you're not getting the proper poke to get those small gold leads, like those 300, 400, 500 gold leads in lane from that initially. And then that's going to allow you to make it easier to get gold. But then also again, prioritizing the wrong objectives meant that you wouldn't get gold as well when you were behind, because instead of trying to trade on top side, go for this objective, which again you have to ping your jungler and try to get him to go for it. He's not always going to, but the ping is going to increase the chance that he does, is going to give us a better likelihood of getting more gold early game. And then that alongside catching the side waves instead of going for a fight in a scenario like that where it's okay to die on the side lane because there's no objectives that we're going to lose off it, and we see a lot of people on the map anyway, so we know we're probably not going to die. These types of scenarios are going to allow us to get a bit of gold, which then allows us to get a bit more and snowballs, and gets us that extra item a little earlier, which then allows us to get an extra kill, and it keeps snowballing in that direction, right? So
yeah, but that's my issue with mages in general, with the void stuff.
No, the void staff removal does make it a bit harder into tanks, especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Someone came into my room, but.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go back to this game's almost done. I don't think there's that much more to talk about.
Yeah. And the problem with that is I much rather like take Kyle, K or whatever the name is,
Kale?
and and ult someone that has damage. Like this is 10 times better than a mage.
See, I don't really agree. I think mages are quite good right now. I think Lux, I think Asol, I think Vladimir, Syndra, Lysandra, Zoe. I think these champs are very good, honestly. Some of the best mid laners.
Vladimir is good. So, Zoe is too hard to make it work properly. I mean, you need to be very good with it.
Yeah, she's a hard. I'm just mentioning that I think mages are good. I'm not saying you need to play Zoe. I think Lux is strong. I think you can continue to play Lux perfectly fine and climb on her. Now, if you have a different champ you want to play, of course, play it. But it is important to stick to say 2-3 champions, right? Like I say this very often. And
yeah, I know that, but I've played 2 champions for my whole life. It's time to learn other.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I think it's good to add like one at a time, right? Like you have your 2, and then you add a third one in. Then once you're comfortable with that third one, maybe you add a fourth after a month or 2, and that's going to be the best way to really climb. Now at this point in the game, we should identify that it's basically unwinnable, and the only way we're going to win is stealing this Elder. And so you should be going more towards the elder side looking for vision or looking for a camp in a random bush or something instead of going through mid initially, which I know is counteracting what I told you normally, going through mid first. But in a scenario like this where it's basically unwinnable, we might as well make a YOLO play like that, right? So
Yeah, the problem is I don't have words
yeah, no, I
in
get
my
that. You're just gonna have to use your third
my
ability to get.
people.
You did have a word there, by the way, we see. So, but yeah, that's fine attempt. It didn't work out. It's probably the end of the game. We could probably just skip through.
Yeah.
All right. So any additional questions? We'll go through the other replay and then we'll write the notes out. But any further questions or anything?
No.
Cool. Then
In general, I learned that it's not roaming. I mean, it's a
well, I do
bit
think your
problematic.
roaming. I think your roaming as well has issues in terms of when you decide to roam, because again,
Yeah,
the pushing the
it,
mid wave. But yeah,
it can be improved, but yeah,
but yeah, the lane
in
phase is a
general,
great place to start. Yes. All right. So here we're obviously, this is more of a just sit back farm type of lane. Maybe like
yeah,
find a level 3 or level 5 all in, but it's most likely. And by the way, I'm
yeah,
not necessarily like a cat player. I'm not going to give you a lot of mechanical advice on this champion. It's going to be the macro that we focus on, which is the more important part of the game and the decision making and stuff, more so than the necessarily the mechanical part of it. And so you look like you do get the first blood here. You die for it. I guess we look for
yeah.
something here. I don't really love fighting level 1 as cat because like she's not very strong on the level 1. You saw an opportunity to try to kill, you went for it. I don't mind that, but probably not going to be the most consistent thing to do.
Yeah, the problem was that I died and it became
Yeah,
irrelevant because
you're still fine here though. Like you do die, you fall behind a little bit, but you can still sit here and farm, and like it's not going to be the end of the world.
My question is, how did he hit more minions to hit level 2 before me hit?
No, he got a kill. That's why he got level 2.
Oh, yeah. So I fucked up. And generally, I cannot find a good mastery for cat.
A good mastery?
Yeah,
Like you're not very good
yeah,
at her, or what do you mean by
keystone.
that?
No, the keystone.
Oh, a rune. Oh, I think first strike
Yeah.
is what like a lot of the good cats usually go. So,
Yeah, to me, it's not. It's good on looks, but not on
all right.
cat.
Yeah. So here, Teemo wave clear is not very crazy. Early game is not very good. We're low. The wave is good, right? He has more minions, so it's gonna push into us. So he can't freeze on us.
Yeah.
Just take it back here. You can recall, you get back to full health, you're gonna lose maybe one minion. Maybe I don't know if you have enough gold to buy like a pendant. If you have 500 extra gold, like for 1,000 total, buy a pendant on this back because it's gonna give you good burst damage. And that's the thing we can. You know what pendant? You know what I mean? Or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The
For infinity
part
orb.
from the orb.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is gonna be like a good potential recall if we have 500 gold, and even if we don't, just recall for health here. But yeah. And also second win in this matchup, kind of nice. I'd recommend taking it if we don't have it.
I'm not sure if I run it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I run it sometimes, but
yeah, into these on cat, I would say when you're into the range matchups, just go second wind and then go bone blading when you're into melee and assassins. But you see how now here you're really low. You're gonna be stuck under tower, getting poked out and possibly ganked here because we didn't take that recall that we could have, and now you're wanting to recall, but we're a lot lower. When we could have just anticipated that earlier, came back on a good power spike where we possibly hit an item. Even if we don't, we're still fine with that. But again, here I don't think that you have enough gold for. No, you do have mana boots. Okay, so you can just take mana boots here then, and that's a good back.
yeah, I think I was waiting for the mana boots too.
No, you had enough gold. I'm pretty. You had 16, like 50. So yeah, you didn't. You weren't waiting because it'd be 1,400 is how much. So. But all right, this is the perfect scenario that I talk about so many times that I love being in as an assassin, and that is we just got mana boots. We're level 5. We have a wave coming, and the enemy's not contesting it. Push this shit super goddamn fast, and look for a roam immediately, right? So.
Yeah.
And it's what we do. We try to push it as fast as possible, so I like it, obviously. And even if you take a little bit of gold here, or a little bit of damage, is fine. But yeah, now I just go towards bot side here and look for a possible roam. Oh, that's unfortunate. We take some unnecessary damage. Well, not unnecessary, just damage. Unlucky. But
Yeah.
and then here,
I think
I'd
I
already...
have
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. What was that? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
I think I have second win.
Okay. Yeah. Because you didn't get the bone plate. Yeah, yeah. And so I know like we just wanted to look for a roam, right? We just pushed it, and now you're still looking for the roam here, but the wave is already back. We should just go back. Like it's kind of the same mistake. You remember the same thing happened in the Lux game, right? We went a
Yeah.
bit too far, and then we looked for the roam here. And at this point, we just got to go back. It's okay to not always get 10 roams off a game, right? Sometimes the wave keeps coming really quickly back because we don't have like an early opportunity where a fight goes out. And really what we just want to push the wave and be missing so that they're scared of us. And then also if we do see something show up. But it's totally okay to push the wave, sit over here for a little bit, look for something, nothing comes up, we just go back. Like we don't always have to get something out of the roam here. But you, again, you take a little bit too much time sitting here when now that mid wave is being taken and we're going to be losing gold again.
Yeah. At least I got the ward. I mean, I think to clear it, but they didn't.
Yeah, but even here, like again, if we get this kill, that's not going to be worth it for the. We explained why, right, against the Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
But even here again, it's a risk, right? You have that risk of dying, which
Yeah.
now we did, and you went too aggressive. It's a mistake itself. But we have that risk of dying where we just don't have that risk of dying if we just go for the wave and it's guaranteed and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to force things to.
No thanks, but I'll talk to you later. I'm sorry. All right. That was just my sister, but.
Yeah.
Well, I might have like missed what you said there. Sorry. Do you mind repeating?
I try to force too much things.
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely are. Exactly. That's very true. It's like, yeah, we don't always have to. Again, Cat scales really well too. So like, we're okay with getting to 2, 3, 4 items, just the same as Lux, and just waiting. We don't have to. We're even winning this game. We see we're up 1,500 gold. Same thing here. Again, you already know what I'm going to tell you, right? Like, I don't need to say it.
Yeah. Can you pause for a moment? Just
Yeah.
want to say something. The problem is if we wait to scale to 4 items, by the time the enemy has 5 items, because it's either my team's going to feed him or I gonna feed him.
You're going to feed who?
The enemy.
Okay, so the
Waiting
reason
5
that this is
over
not
items.
the reason that this is not logical is like you think in such a negative way of how your teammates are gonna like play the game out, but you're not thinking about the fact that your enemies are gonna do the same stuff. Like your enemies suck too, right? Like you don't disagree. Your opponents are bad too. Yeah.
Yeah. Problem is, I'm not sure if it's true, but you know how the matchmaking works.
Yeah, but your stats aren't going to be good enough to have that happen. Like you aren't going to be impacted by this.
Yeah, I have like 56% win rate. So
yeah, that's not going to be enough to make it unwinnable. I've currently like a 58% win rate this season, and I've hit Challenger like already, and I deal with the bad teammates too, but I'm still able to impact the games and win them. Like it's going to make it a little harder to win. It's not going to make it so much harder to win that we can't win. And also, thinking about how the matchmaking is going to work is not going to like allow us to win more of these games based on the way you're playing. What's going to allow you to win more games is making the consistent plays that are going to work out all the time, that are going to let you win when you do get the teammates who perform well. Because the reality is, sure, maybe the matchmaking is going to cause you to have slightly worse teammates. Maybe. But that doesn't mean that just because, okay, like, for example, I have played games against pro players where I do better than the pro player. That doesn't mean I'm better than the pro player. The matchmaking would view the pro player as better than me, and the pro player is better than me. But in this individual game, I'm better than the pro player. So you could get, say your Amumu, matchmaking determines your Amumu is worse than your Master Yi. But your Amumu may play better than Master Yi in this individual game. And their skills are still close enough where if you make correct plays to allow your team to have possibilities for the game to work out well, for example, pushing this mid wave and then roaming once your Amumu is done with his camps, even if he's worse than the Master Yi, because you're making that play, you're essentially buffing him in a way. You're making him a better player because of how you're playing. But when you play in this type of way, your teammate wants to farm these 3 camps. You don't want to be camping here. Like the time where you even might want to make a camp like this is after he's cleared these 2 camps. So on the next wave, right? Because then he's going to be on his Krugs. He's going to be looking for this now. But when you do it here, again, you're creating an opportunity where your Amumu is either going to have to give up camps or he's just not going to help you guys. But again, we do it a wave later and he's going to help us a lot more likely to, right? Like, do you understand what I'm kind of saying here?
Yeah, I'm wasting too much time waiting.
Yeah. And again, your mindset about like the teammates and trying to like just worry less about them. Just worry more about making the correct
Yeah,
play.
yeah. I'm just joking about it.
Yeah. I mean, see, I don't
But
know if it sounds like you're like using it a little bit as justification for some of the mistakes though, which
no,
I
no,
get,
no, no,
but
no,
yeah. Okay,
no.
another thing to point out
I
for game pro.
shouldn't initiate
Yeah,
here.
you know, it's not really. Just wait for his spells. Wait till you see the third ability and the first ability come out, especially the third ability from Thresh, and then go in. Because once doesn't have his third ability, he can't CC you. So
Yeah. Here I have to be patient and I'm impatient.
yeah,
And when I was patient, it was at the wrong time.
yeah. No, it's just funny. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think I'm just too used to play Lee Sin,
yeah.
which is yearly game champ, and I'm used to make plays here.
I get that. I get that. It is a different mindset, but I'm assuming you wanted to get better at these champs based on the fact that you wanted coaching on them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but I also play Master Yi, so it's the
Again,
opposite of the list.
same thing here with the mid wave. We just get on the mid wave
Yeah,
and then go. And another thing that is important to understand about these mid waves and about this wave file is assassins want to be in fights late, right? Like you want to be waiting for your team to engage. And so you don't necessarily have to worry about the fact that your team might fight early without you, because them fighting without you initially means that spells, ultimates, flashes, they get out. And so you push this wave, you're still going to be able to come in late to the fight, get a flank off. So it's okay for you to be a bit separate sometimes as an assassin, especially.
yeah.
But yeah, a lot of time spent in these bushes kind of wasting time where we could get gold. And it looks like you're going to end up getting a kill here, so at least there's that. But okay, unfortunately it doesn't work out. But yeah, again, this Teemo is just getting further and further and further ahead of us, and it's going to make our champion feel weaker because we're not going to have that gold for the later parts of the game, which is when your champ really is strong, is the 2, 3, 4 items. So.
Yeah, we get a kill of Master.
Oh.
No, we don't.
Close. And again, yeah,
And
this is
something, yeah, close.
yeah, almost.
If I had taken all those waves on mid,
Yeah,
I would have killed here
exactly.
Days and
Exactly. It's these small things that add up. And again, this is usually not going to impact the outcome of an individual game, but in the long run, it's going to change 2 or 3 or 4 games, right? And those 2, 3, 4 games, that's an entire going from Diamond 2 to Diamond 1, winning 3 extra games instead of like 3 lost games, right? That's from Diamond 2 to Diamond 1. That's a good amount, right? And then just 3 more of those, now we're Master. You know, it's a lot smaller than we realize, and that's why, again, your win rate's actually decent. Like you're not a bad player overall. But these small things are what stop you from like getting higher and then feeling better and not worrying as much about the teammates, because then, you know, you're like, oh, I'm actually pretty happy with the rank I'm at now. I don't have to worry as much about my teammates. And then like, instead of focusing on that, it's all kind of like a snowball effect, you know, in a way. So
yeah. I'm hardstick Diamond 2, 6 stars. It's my max.
yeah.
I go to there and then it's downhill.
And exactly, like, so you're currently Diamond 2 right now this season?
Yeah, I'm now Diamond 3 from the weekend.
So another thing is there's about a month and a half, 2 months left in the season. I think 2 months, roughly. And so you have time. And so be patient with the improvement and stick to these things that I'm telling you. Don't get impatient and be like, oh, I'm going to switch up. I'm going to go play this now. I'm going to play, you know, I'm going to start spamming jungle or whatever. Like, you have 2 months to reach your peak. Be consistent, focus on those small things that I'm talking about, and you can 100% get there, you know? But if we give up after, you know, a loss streak, or we get really mad at our teammates after a loss streak and we keep playing, right? Like, that's how it's going to we're going to be stuck in Diamond 2 again. So.
Yeah. If I go to play jungle, I'll reach Master easily. I mean, jungle is easier to carry. In general, I don't have to, like the lane opponent, I don't have to think for it. I mean, I kind of have, but the interaction is limited.
So, but have you reached Master with jungle before?
No, I reached Diamond 1 with jungle before.
So then...
And I stopped playing basically because I didn't want to push.
Gotcha.
But I also climbed to Diamond with jungle. And then I switched to ADC. ADC is kind of... Yeah, I play good ADC. That was the problem.
Yeah, so I would say we should just kind of stick to either mid or jungle. Like, you need to choose one. But obviously, since we're giving you coaching on the mid, I think like a lot of this information can be applied to mid and you can climb on it, right? And I think like I can see, right? And if you want to switch to jungle, you can do that. But like, either way, I think you should stick to one or the other. I don't think going
Yeah,
back
I
and forth
try
is.
to.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I just play a role till
Yeah.
I become good at it,
Then let's
and
do
then
mid lane
I
this
move.
season. Let's just stick to mid lane, stick to this stuff that we're getting
Yeah.
the coaching on, focus on improving on that, and then the next season, if you feel like you want to change it up, I think that's a good time to kind of change it up because it gives you the leeway of the early season where it doesn't matter if you climb early on to get better at that stuff, and then when you get to the mid season, you're kind of really practiced on that stuff, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Here, if I had Conquer, I could get triple kill, or if I get the waves here left.
I mean, I think it's fine to have first strike though. I still think first strike's good, but
Yeah, I think Conquer is better due to the spell vamp and how squishy cat is.
well, if you wanna play Conquer into tanky comps like this, I don't mind it. Like they have a Thresh, they have a Shen, right? Like they have that, do that, and then go first
Yeah.
strike when they're really squishy, and that's fine. Don't mind that.
Yeah. I also play Electrocute.
Yeah, Electrocute's not
But
bad for lane too, especially.
yeah.
Again, here we know there's only
And
one person on the side lane, so we can get this wave pretty freely. But yeah.
Yeah. And we try to do that.
Yeah.
My teammates are doing
I
pointless
would walk
fight.
up and get another bot wave, by the way. We see everyone fighting in mid, I just get the next bot wave that's gonna come. And like I just be focused on the
Yeah.
gold. Because same thing as that previous thing. So also we're ahead here. So if like stuff, goes wrong, we don't really care that much because we're still gonna be able to get that extra gold. And like just getting that bot wave, maybe even pushing some of that tower, is just gonna be more guaranteed once again. And here it looks like you're maybe gonna kill one person, but you're gonna die right after. And like, was this really worth it? It's again the same scenario
No.
as the Lux game, right? Same type of
Yeah.
situation, and we made the same decision. So that's again another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, problem is they engage it 3 versus 4 and they all die.
Yeah. And again, your teammates, we don't care that they are dumb. They are dumb. They did a dumb thing. But look at it from the perspective of your teammates. You did the dumb thing with them. Like in the view of the overall, landscape of the game, you in this specific scenario are as dumb as your teammates. And like I'm not saying that you're as bad as them, right? But yeah,
No.
in this scenario, we did what they did, right? And we're following it. We should.
Yeah.
We if we think our teammates are bad, then we need to follow them less. We need to ping more because you don't ping nearly enough. Like you can ping a lot more.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm looking at the map a lot of times when I want you to be pinging, you're not, but sometimes you are.
Maybe in those individual games I don't, but
Yeah.
usually
Overall,
I spamping.
that's good. That's good. But either way, be more confident in our own decision making. And the time that you have to follow your teammates' decision making when they go for dumb fights is when an objective is spawning. So if there were 20 seconds before the objective, right, at that time when they went for that fight, then I don't mind you going for it. And another thing about your mechanics on Katarina, you're going really far under turrets and trying to fight people really aggressively and like be a bit more patient, don't go in so aggressively under these turrets and don't put yourself in a scenario where you're always going on the Thresh here. Again, like I don't like engaging on the Thresh because he has his CC to CC us and we don't have enough damage to actually one-shot him anyway. So wait for these squishies to walk up, let the Thresh go up and use his spells on someone else, and then go forward when you see his third ability especially, or his first ability, but really the third ability, and then go forward after that onto their squishies when, say, their Ezreal uses his dash, or when Teemo goes forward, right? Stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I also missed my combo pretty heavily on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hit the daggers, so
Yeah, and again, like the mechanics thing is not what we worry about because I do really dumb stuff myself as someone who's reached rank 5, right? Like I make bad mechanical plays, I misclick, I choke stuff. We're all going to do that. And so what's consistent is my decision making. My decision making is going to lead me to having high gold every game, being able to be fed in the late game and carry teams in late game. And maybe I'm going to choke that carry sometimes, right? But if I'm putting myself in the scenario to do it a lot, then I'm still going to succeed a lot more than someone who's consistently going for these fights without first doing the other small things that I'm doing in these games, And I think that's the thing we need to focus on. And then you missing your dagger, missing a spell or whatever, obviously the more you play, the better you're going to get at that. But missing those spells is not going to be nearly as important when we have more than 8,000 gold in 13 minutes. And then additionally, we run mid here. Where should we be right now?
bot lane.
Yes.
Or top lane.
Either, but bot is a little bit better because it's a little bit of a bigger wave. But yeah, bot or
Yeah,
top,
Davis
don't care.
second tower.
Yeah. And so since your teammates are having like the T-Rex, I don't mind too much that you're pushing with it. However, you're 8k gold, you're not really going to be that useful here. Like your team wins or loses this without you. Like you don't really change the outcome of it. So I'd just rather be bot and getting ourselves gold and getting, again, the death cap. The death cap is for both of your champions. We want death cap, you know, and that's really when we're going to feel really strong. So
Yeah, I'm here for the participation trophy.
you know, that's fair. Nowadays, everyone loves participation trophies. So like, you know, I get it. I get it. But yeah, we've actually just been sitting here jacking off for like 20 minutes or 20 seconds straight. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely just that bot wave. We could just get that, and then we get that turret because our team's going to come from mid to help us with that turret once the wave gets there. And so we're actually going to be getting a lot of value out of it. But yeah.
Yeah, problem with Cat is I have to rely on my teammates to engage, you know.
Yeah, and again, that's why, as we spoke about earlier, you don't have to be in the fight right away because your team has to, the fight has to break out before you can even do anything. So you just sitting there, obviously a couple times you sitting there is going to let you get a kill because you're going to be in the perfect spot, right? But it's not, it doesn't matter when there's no objective up. That's another thing. You know, there's no dragon. You just got the Baron. There's nothing that you actually lose if your team messes up, right? Again, if we were setting up for the objective when a dragon's about to spawn, and then we push the mid wave, and then we're sitting in the bush, and now you're sitting in a bush, right? Now the dragon's up in 20 seconds. They're going to want to come because there's something to draw them there. But when you're sitting here just waiting, there's nothing to draw the enemy. What are they going to do? They're going to sit under their turret, and they're going to clear the wave. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're never going to do anything else. Everyone's going to sit, unless they're like really stupid, right? So you're just, there's never a realistic way where a fight's going to break out there. And again, bot wave or top wave, but really bot wave. That bot wave hasn't been touched for way too long, and I'm gonna keep pointing this out because this is what is important. And I want you to, you know, I want you playing the next games, and you're just thinking about my annoying little voice, right? Just telling you go bot, and that's gonna get you to actually go there. So I'm gonna keep pointing it out every time that it's a mistake made. We need to be going bot more often, and then we need to recall after this because again, we're kind of low health now. So go bot and then recall right after.
Yes, it's funny
Dude,
how I've done that thing.
Bro. Like, it's not that important.
Yeah, but I've done like nothing for the last 3 minutes.
Exactly. Like, you've gotten like 500 gold in the last 3 minutes. Like, that is the average gold someone should have is like 800 a minute on like mid, 750, 800 a minute.
Yeah.
And we've gotten like 500 in 3 minutes. So like that is something to point out.
In jungle, I have like 1k a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do this in mid. Like, so you can't quite farm as hard as jungle, but you can still have a lot of gold. And you just like, this side laning is going to be the biggest part of your mid game. Like the early game lane phase, we spoke about a lot of the issues there, especially on Lux. And then the side laning late game is going to be is another big important thing. And then your patience on Katarina, keeping track of spells and waiting for your team to go in, is another thing.
Yeah, I still have to be bot here.
Yeah, even here. So even like at this point, okay, at this point it's a bit okay to be mid. You didn't really play the fight very well because you tried auto attacking a Master Yi, so he got more autos, which means he gets his reset quicker. So you shouldn't have autoed him as much as you did in the fight. But this is a time where it's okay to be mid now. Like, okay, so let's put you in a scenario where you played how I actually would want you to play. You have 3 or 4 or 5 bot waves that we got earlier, right, before this scenario, meaning we have 1,000 plus extra gold. We recalled and spent that gold. We now got Infinity Orb or Death Cap or Stasis or something, right, to make us a lot stronger. Yeah. Now we're coming to the fight 37 seconds before Dragon, 24 seconds before Baron. Now there's stuff that people are going to fight over. If we kill their Master Yi now, that is really important. You see, Master Yi was quite low. Imagine we had that extra item. We had that 1,000 gold. So I'm okay with you being mid here because now there's not a wave that's threatening your turret. You got the recall in my hypothetical scenario that gave you this gold lead. And then you're able to come to the fight and actually be useful, right? So,
yeah. And not die like a dog.
Yeah, and yeah, I think your Katarina team fighting and mechanics are not the best. I'm not gonna coach super specifically on that. You just need a lot more patience, and I think your Lux is like your stronger champion at the moment based on what I'm watching. And I think Lux is a better blind pick. I think Katarina you should just counter pick when you see really good comps for her, right? But I think Lux can be your overall blind pick that we stick to for the most part when it's just like, we don't know what's going, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm good with Katarina when I get fed.
Exactly, and you can get fed if we play the way we're talking about, right? So that's not going to be an issue as long as we are focused on that. So.
Yeah, Or if I play tank, like half tank Katarina.
Nah, go damage. The goal is to carry. Don't go tank. Don't be like that.
I
You talk again. You
yes,
spoke about how your teammates suck. You're not carrying your shitty teammates with tank Katarina. You aren't doing that. You're carrying
no.
them.
I'm not like I'm not going tank, but I got more healed items with doing.
I don't like that. I just go for the damage, bro. Trust me.
But that is very situational. If I see I have a good teammate that do damage and we don't have
I don't know. I'm
enough
not a
tank.
fan. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, me neither. But the problem with the game right now is you either are tank or you get one shot.
See, but you can be the one-shotting if we do what we're talking about, where we have the gold and we're playing the good lane phase.
Yeah.
You can be the one pissing off the enemy, making them think that your champion is broken, and making them think that their teammates suck. You can be making this happen if we do the things we spoke about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. More
Yeah.
side laning.
100%.
And
The
I
more
do it
side laning,
some
the better lane
games,
phases is already going to help a lot, for sure.
but not always.
Yeah.
Like it depends on the champ I'm playing. Problem with Kata is the wave clear is not very good.
Yeah. And if you have a
And,
problem with your
and
champion, then you can switch your champion. Like, you don't have to play, no one's telling you have to play Katarina. And I don't think she's in the best spot right now, but I think even with Katarina, it's going to be fine if we, again, we just do these things.
yes, she's good on team fights only.
And it's also, I mean, again, like, yes, she's really good in team fights, but your team fighting is, in a lot of ways, problematic in how you play the team fights. And it doesn't need to be spoke about, and it's something that should be spoken about more once you have more gold and you're understanding these other things. But you're going in so early in all of these fights. You're just really, really impatient. You're not waiting for your resets. You're not waiting for people to actually engage for you. And so they go in, right? This guy goes in. Maybe you can get a dash on him, get some damage, but then you can walk back. You don't necessarily have to go straight in, right? So like here, like you could maybe like try to get some damage off on him, but then you wait for your team to go. You don't need to ult so early. Wait till they're lower, and then you ult, and then you get some resets. You can even get your second ult reset after killing 2 people or something. Like, you're ulting so early into fights. You're ulting onto a tank. You're mainly just hitting the tank with this ultimate. Your teammates are back here hitting the Baron. Let them engage. Once a Mumu's off the Baron, then he can engage, and you wait for them to be CC'd. But we're, you know, and I'm not yelling because I'm angry at you. I'm just like, I'm explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
But like, we just need to be more patient. This is, again, like, the team fighting is still very problematic. Now you get taunted because we didn't wait the Shen taunt out. So now we lose our ultimate quicker. We get CC'd, and you luckily get out. But you could have done all of this right now when your Amumu is walking in, and then they're all of a sudden they're CC'd. They can't do all of this to you. But now Amumu is going to die because they don't have you, right? And again, I'm just, a lot of these things.
My thought process here was to zone them, so
Right.
so
So you
Mumu
want to
can
zone
get the
them.
Baron.
I get it. You want to zone them.
Yeah.
You can't zone them because you're Katarina. If you were a
Yeah.
fed Katarina, you zone them by existing. Your existence zones people because they're scared that you're going to one-shot them. But your existence doesn't zone anyone when we have 10,000 gold at 18 minutes. You know? And so that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, so at
walking
this point, you
minion.
just have to be patient. You just have to be patient at this point. You have to let your team do the zoning. You have to let your team do way more. You have to trust your team more. And I know your team sucks, and sometimes your team is going to suck, and that's going to mean you lose. And it's okay to lose. Losing happens. But if you're playing the way you're playing, you're going to lose way more than you should be losing.
Yeah. It's very funny that I decide to feed. Like, I don't do it intentionally.
Yeah.
But
No, I get it, man.
I'm like a dog, and I win.
Yeah.
And when I try hard, lose.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I get that because like you focus really hard and you feel like you play really well and then you lose, right? And I've had streams where I've legit gotten like 7 or 8 SCPs in a row straight losing, and I just tell myself, I played well this stream. I don't need to change anything. I'm gonna focus on playing the same way I did because I played really well. And then I play, say for 2-3 more days, right? And all of a sudden I start winning a lot more because I'm sticking to what worked and how I should have played, right? And then there's these other days where I also lose and I have bad stat lines and I feel like I'm actually the reason I lose the games. And those are when I look back on my gameplay, I try to figure out what actually went wrong and stuff like that. So it's like, it's about sticking to what actually works, even if the result isn't what you want. It's not about the result. It's about the long run, which means like you have to have these consistent habits that are actually working out well. You have to analyze things from a objective perspective and not from an like a results-based perspective, because you're so results-based. You're so focused on your teammates. And again, I blame my teammates too. I get it, but your decision making can't be impacted by your teammates. It's okay to Be like, I lost this
yeah,
game because my teammate sucks. But what's not okay is when your teammate's sucking now impacts your gameplay like it does. So,
No, I know it's entirely my fault. It's not.
yeah.
I mean, it's not that it's just like entirely my fault. Of course, it's a team game,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in general, I should be focused on my play and not theirs.
100%. Yeah, yeah. And you get it, and you seem responsive to it. I have confidence that you're going to be able to get to master this season as long as you implement these tips. You focus a bit more on the mindset part of things, and you focus on these things which we're about to write out in terms of the gameplay. I'm gonna upload this video. I feel like this was one of my better coaching sessions in terms of like value that I feel like can be gotten from it. Like it felt like there was a lot to talk about. It was pretty long and like extensive. I feel like a lot can be gained from this, and so you see my screen. We're gonna write out some notes, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
So, okay. So starting off, we're gonna just go kind of chronologically in terms of the lane phase. First thing, play for level 2 advantage by hitting minions with autos more often to keep enemy first wave lower health than our first wave. Does this make sense, or do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to every match.
No, it doesn't. And all these things are all situational. And so I'm
Yeah,
glad that
yeah.
you're pointing that out. You're right. Sometimes you're in a matchup where you're just going to lose hard, and you just got to focus on getting last hits and surviving until later, right? And
Yeah,
so that's
that with
why it just depends.
Katarina is like
Yeah. This is more about the Lux
almost
game, right?
always.
Like this is thinking about that first
Yeah,
Lux
yeah.
game, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, on Katarina, you're right. So I'll even write like on Lux especially, and obviously there's going to be some cat matchups where you can do this too, but on Lux especially, this is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so secondly, another part of the Lux gameplay, wait for enemy to last hit and hit spells when they stand still to auto. Right, you remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing, mana boots recall is very valuable. Very good.
Yeah,
When the
I
wave is
have one
good,
question here.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. For the wave, if it's pushing in my tower or leaning toward my side, or it's so let's say we have the first scenario.
Yep.
The wave is pushed into enemy, but it's not on their tower. We do recall here.
If your wave is pushing to the enemy.
Yeah, let's say they froze the lane.
Okay, they froze on you. And there's going to be two separate instances where we have a different response. The first instance is we're low health and we're getting poked out and we're losing the lane. In this scenario, you're going to have to recall like we did on that cat. You remember the cat game I was speaking to you about? Where you were low health, right? And then you didn't recall till later? In that scenario, you need to recall because you're low health. So walking up to the wave is going to cause you to die, because that's why people freeze on you, is so that they can kill you while you go up for the wave, right? They're going to punish you, they're going to deny you minions, and they're going to kill you when you go up to the wave because they're winning the lane. Does that make sense? And so in that scenario, we need to recall. Now, the other scenario, you're winning the lane, but they freeze on you. In a scenario where you're winning the lane or even health and they freeze on you, if you have your spells up, your goal is to just get all those minions to die as quick as possible, so that then they go under the tower, and then when those minions go under the tower, you get to recall first, meaning the enemy has to clear all those minions, then they have to recall. Meaning you get back to lane first, right? Because you recalled earlier. Now that you get back to lane first, you can push that next wave first. Usually you're hitting level 5 off that wave, and then you have an opportunity to roam. So does that make sense? The two different scenarios?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, by the way, I'm okay with explaining more. You don't
No,
just have to say it.
it does.
Cool, cool.
I just had a question that I forgot what it was.
You forgot the question? Okay. Well, if it comes back, just stop me, interrupt me, and ask it, and we'll just go through it as until it comes up. So next thing, very big problem that we had as well, roaming. Wait to roam until we push the wave.
I think it's general that I don't give up on a started roam, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah, when
I start
roaming, be
roam.
okay with giving up on the roam if the wave is coming back. Does this make sense how I typed it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what you were gonna say, right? Like when sometimes you wait on the roam too long instead of just going back, right? Like that type of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't mean to interrupt you or anything. I didn't. That just
Yeah, it's fine.
all right. Let's think. What was the next thing we spoke about? Pushing the wave before objectives as well. Push wave, and you know what prio is?
I'm kinda not.
Okay, so I'll just say push the lane and get. Let's see. I can just explain prio. Basically, prio just means that you have push in the lane, so you have more minions than them, and you're getting the minions closer to their turret. And then you often will get the wave under their turret. And when you get the wave under their turret, then you can move. You have priority. You have the priority over what you're deciding on to do to roam and to help your team while they're stuck clearing the turret. So basically, when I say get prio, I mean push the wave before they're able to push it, so that then you can go first to help at the objective, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to write push wave and get prio before objectives in order to help our team fight and get vision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just to remember that Malphite.
Yeah. Malphite was funny. It was
Yeah.
certainly something. All right. So the next important thing we spoke about was the side laning aspect of the game, and so that's kind of what we'll move into the talking about now. So the first thing is going to be go for side lane waves instead of fights when there is no objective spawning. Because when there's no objective spawning, like we spoke about earlier, we explained to you, even if you die, it's fine because you don't lose that much. Getting the gold as well instead of kills makes you not gain an additional shutdown, so you're gaining more guaranteed gold. It's guaranteed rather than potentially dying in a fight. All of these things, right? So that makes sense?
Yeah.
Additionally, use side lanes to hit power spikes, such as death cap, and then focus on fighting. Because, you know, once we hit the death cap on Katarina, on Lux, that's when we really want to start taking these fights, and we want to worry a lot more about the fighting. And then earlier on, before that, is when the side lanes are a bigger friend to us. So essentially, the goal of side laning up to a certain point is to hit your power spike. And then once you've hit your power spikes, the goal of side laning now becomes don't let my turrets die, right? And so that's kind of the mindset shift we need to have. Now you're just trying to not let your turrets die once you hit that death cap or once you hit the crown or whatever item you feel is going to help you win the game. And then you start going into those fights that are going to allow you to get prio, to win the fights, to get more gold, to then go for Elder, Baron, these types of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. What else is it that we spoke about? Patience on Katarina and the team fights. Patience in team fights, especially on Cat. I hate autocorrect. Bro, it won't let me just type cat. All right.
Yeah, there is dogs in the game.
Patience in team fights, especially on cat, and I want to write out wait for enemy CC and to let your teammates go in first rather than engaging.
Yeah.
Because literally Katarina needs like 2 seconds to turn a fight around that looked losing. Like the amount of times I played against that guy, what was his name? He was a rank 2 cat. Like he was rank 2 in the server and he was playing cat all the time. Not pro. His name was Not Pro. He's an NA guy who was rank 2 when like starting was grinding rank 1. Like he was like keeping up with starting on pushing because he was this good at Katarina. And I would play against this guy and we kill his entire team, but all of our spells are gone because we wasted them or whatever. And then he 1v4s my entire team because he's side laning, he's getting a ton of gold, his mechanics on the champ are also crazy. And then he's literally one-shotting us in 2 seconds, like my entire team. Like this is the type of stuff that Katarina can do if you're being patient and you're farming on the side lane so that you have this gold to then, you know, win the fights and whatever.
Generally, I have better mechanics at her, but
Yeah,
this
no, it
specific
happens.
game, I was like handicapped.
No, I get you.
You
It
know,
happens.
to be fun, just so enemy can win a bit. You know?
Yeah, for sure. You're a generous guy. I get it. And
Yeah.
then the I think this is probably the last point. be a bit more patient with Lux ults. Because again,
Yeah.
I liked that you were doing the Lux ults pretty often because the cooldown's low, but you, again, we spoke about a lot of specific scenarios where it was just like, we could have had that for a fight that would have been more useful, right? So,
Yeah. I have question.
yeah.
When do I pick the cooldown boots?
When do I pick the cooldown
Like
ults? What do you mean?
the cooldown boots.
Oh, cooldown boot, never. They suck. Never pick them. Ever, 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 ever.
Yeah, but the problem is I want cooldown reduction.
I don't care. Don't pick them. They suck. They're
Yeah,
so
I
bad.
know
Their
that.
stats are awful. They give you no damage. They give you a little bit of health. They don't really make you tanky, and they give you a little bit of lower cooldown. Just go Transcendence and go some ability haste. You get ability haste from Ludens. You can get ability haste from other items. Like, you don't need it. It sucks.
Yeah,
Just get mana boots.
but I think they work only on certain champs.
On what?
On specific champs.
Like?
Let's say a tank like Nasus.
No. What? You're a tank. You're a tank. You want to be tanky. You want to go Mercury Treads or Plated Steel Caps. The reason you want to go play Mercury Treads or Plated Steel Caps is because you have a weak lane phase. And so the same timing that you can take a mana boots back on those champions, on Nasus, you can take a boots back for Plated Steel Caps or Mercury Treads. Once you get that, you're much less likely to die in lane. Being less likely to die in lane allows you to scale up. When you scale up, then you carry. These Ionian boots, they don't allow you to do much because you're just a lot less tankier than with these other boots, and you're not going to kill anyone early game by having a bit of a lower cooldown anyway. So
Yeah, but I'll stack faster.
yeah, you do that, but like it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. You're gonna stack slightly faster just to like have a way higher likelihood of dying in the early game, which then allows you to never actually get to the point where you're scaled properly. And you're not stacking that much faster. You're acting like the Ionian boots are gonna cause you to get like a crazy amount of extra. You know, it makes your Q like a second less. Like that's like maybe like a couple extra Qs max over the course of the
But
entire game.
on the ult, it makes it 2 seconds.
It makes the ult what?
Like the ult reduce your cooldown on half.
Not in
So,
half. It reduces it reduces
yeah.
it, but like it's
Yeah.
it's not enough to outweigh the benefits of Mercury Treads and Steel
Yeah.
Caps and
Yeah, I know that, but I love cooldown just.
they're fun. I get you, but they're not good. They're just bad boots.
Yeah, like I even go Mercury turrets on, let's say, Yasuo or Ion mid.
Oh, that's troll too. That's like, and like I'm not
Yeah,
like that is bad.
it depends on situation. Let's say
No,
I'm
there
in
is no
a bad mood.
situation. There, like I'm okay. You explain to me, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's say I'm against 4 magic damage champs on the enemy team,
Okay.
and I'm behind on the lane.
Then go Mercury
What?
Treads.
Yeah, I go Mercury trades and let's say Wits End. And
Yeah.
then I win.
So then what? I thought you were talking about Ionian boots.
No, not Ionian boots. I said Mercury trades.
Yeah, but like I thought the point was you were saying sometimes you go Ionian boots on Yasuo or Yone or whatever.
No. Why would I go
See, that's why I
Ionian
was
boots?
confused. That's why I was confused because I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
Mercury Treads. Yeah, Mercury Treads are good. Tank Yasuo and Yone going Mercury Treads and Steel Caps. That's what they want to do most of the time. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it depends.
All right. Any
like,
other questions or anything else?
No.
Okay. I had fun. I was like kind of more animated or whatever than normal. I wasn't like yelling at you because I'm angry. I had fun talking about this. Like I enjoyed coaching. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I felt like we talked about a lot, and you were like very responsive and able to give. I like that you're giving your opinions as well, so I'm able to discuss it with you, so we can understand why I think the things that I think, rather than you just being like yes. You know. So very glad about that.
Yeah.
I'll send you these notes in the DMs. And I'll see you later.
Yeah. Let's